then bottled and shipped directly to our customers. Balance of Nature is now offering 35% off on any new preferred order. Call 1-800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code Newsmax.
Will a falling dollar drive gold and silver prices higher in 2021? According to a
has led astronomers to conclude the universe had a beginning.
Real news for real people.
Daughter of the King, How to Find Your True Royal Purpose and Identity is available now on barnesandnoble.com and on the Barnes & Noble Read Nook app.
Hi, I'm Jane King, and thank you for watching. This show is all about public, private, and blockchain companies. We bring you the innovators behind the companies making the headlines in that space. Some are sponsored, some are invited, all are curated and focused on telling you, the viewers, their story. Here we go. Innerscop Hearing Technologies has new technology for those who are hearing impaired. And also the CEO, Matthew Moore, is with us here today to talk about some of the developments that you've had. And I mean, it's so interesting always to talk to you, Matthew, about this issue because there are 46 million people who suffer from some form of hearing loss. And it's a huge market and you're out there to help them. So can you kind of explain where you're at?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's nearly 40 million Americans suffering from hearing loss today that aren't getting any hearing assistance whatsoever. And that's primarily due to cost, accessibility, awareness, education. You're talking a lot of reasons why: denial, vanity, stigma. And Innerscop really does provide solutions with our premium, highly accessible, affordable, direct-to-consumer hearing devices. And that is where, we're out there helping people to hear better and really to understand and have a better relationship with their friends and family members. Because remember, hearing loss just doesn't affect the person with the hearing loss themselves. It's also the people that, around them, friends, family members. If you can't communicate with your loved one, and this is also to the people out there that are actually talking to the family members and friends that know someone with hearing loss. You really need to get that checked out, and you really need to get that person some hearing assistance. And that's where Innerscop can help and provide that premium, affordable, direct-to-consumer hearing devices.
Mm-hmm. Now, does somebody need a prescription for a hearing device?
Yeah, that is one of the biggest misinformations out there right now, is that it came out even a couple of years ago. The FDA even reclarified it, that a person does not need to see a professional. They do not need a prescription. They do not need to see a doctor. They don't need to see anyone to get a FDA registered hearing aid. As long as the hearing aids are FDA registered, which all of our hearing aids are, as long as they're FDA registered, someone can buy a direct to consumer hearing aid. You can buy a hearing aid in a local professional's office, or you can buy it from our website. There is no difference. Our hearing aids are exactly the same as the ones in the professionals. But what we've done is really cut out the middleman to really help provide that service and that education and and those products without spending $8,000 for a set of hearing aids. I mean, our hearing aids are $1,000 to $1,500 a set, and then on top of that, our products, we offer a subscription model. So really, a person can buy a product and sign up for a subscription model for less than $50 a month for a set of premium affordable hearing devices.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, the cost is just amazing. And I know that does keep a lot of people out of it. And there are also people maybe that have early hearing loss and don't quite even realize it yet. Is there a solution, like a first step that somebody can go to and see if they have an issue?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that is one of the biggest issues is, with the 40 million Americans that are suffering from hearing loss that aren't getting any current hearing assistance, it all comes from them not being aware of their hearing loss. And that's where you can go to our website, myheariq.com. That's our new e-commerce platform. You can easily test your own hearing. It gives you the instant results right there. You can have a consultation with one of our licensed hearing health professionals. You don't have to have that if you don't want to. Simply take your test and you can find out what you're missing, what you're hearing and what you're not. And that's also to the friends and family members as well. If you suspect someone has a hearing loss, or a friend or family member has a hearing loss, go to myheariq.com, have them test their hearing and find out what they're hearing and what they're hearing, what they're not. Because early detection is the key here, because a person goes 6 to 10 years before they buy a hearing aid after they realize they have a hearing loss. Mm-hmm. So early detection is key. So please go to myheariq.com and test your hearing.
Okay. And then, I mean, you've got 46,000 shareholders, which is amazing. Can you update shareholders on where you are? What are your goals for 2021?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we just launched our latest premium affordable direct-to-consumer app-controlled hearing devices on our e-commerce. We have signed, executed distribution agreements with numerous online and brick-and-mortar retailers. A lot of these are still under NDA, and we're still unable to fully disclose those at this time. But let's just say is that we have over 25 kiosks currently on order, and we'll be receiving these hearing screening kiosks. These are hearing screening kiosks that we're going to be putting inside retailers, pharmacies, grocery stores, that a person can literally test their hearing in these retail locations and purchase a product directly from the kiosk itself. So we have these kiosks coming in within the next 4 to 6 weeks, and we're going to be launching these in numerous states in the coming months. And literally, we have dozens of retailers that we're communicating to right now about launching these hearing screening kiosks, these physical hearing screening kiosks, and our products on their websites, in stores. And I mean, we just have so many things on our plate right now. It is incredible how much hearing health is really being brought to the forefront right now. Okay,
very interesting. And I look forward to updates as you're able to reveal more information later on this summer, Matthew. Always great to talk to you.
Great to be here. Thank you very much.
With me is the CEO of Simplicity Esports, Roman Franklin, to bring us an update on what's going on. Great to see you again.
Likewise, Shane. Thanks for having me back.
So let's start by discussing another month of record-setting revenue. So explain how that's all coming together for you.
That's right. So our CFO has been hard at work with the auditors for the past month to finalize the 10K and is still diligently working on that as we speak. And that was obviously for the period ended 5/31. But in the meantime, Simplicity set another record in June for monthly revenue generated by our esports gaming centers. What's most exciting for me about June's revenue is that the record was achieved while the majority of our corporate-owned gaming centers were still operating under capacity limitations. Obviously, it's because COVID-19 restrictions in certain states still exist, like California, Washington, and Oregon. But if we continue to see those restrictions lifted, it will allow us to serve more customers, which I expect to result in continued revenue growth, which is exciting.
Yeah. So, and you recently announced that you're also mining crypto as part of your gaming business. So explain how that works.
An esports company that mines cryptocurrency, yes. So it's interesting. One of the requirements of a great gaming PC is a top-performing graphics card. While we do primarily focus on esports and gaming, coincidentally, PCs that efficiently mine the cryptocurrency Ethereum also require the same top-performing graphics cards, that same hardware. So we have hundreds of gaming stations across our 33 locations. And through a partnership with one of our third-party software providers, we began in late June to participate in a mining pool by passively mining Ethereum when our PCs are not in use by customers, including in overnight periods. So essentially what that means is when they're not in use, the system automatically goes back and forth between mining Ethereum as well as allowing a customer to play a game on our system. At this point, the increase in energy expense has been nominal compared to the monthly mining revenue for us. So, our PCs have historically sat idle overnight, and there's something very attractive to me about the idea of increasing the monetization from each PC by having our machines working to produce financially for shareholders while we sleep.
Absolutely. No, and I had no idea that the Ethereum took the graphics card and all that. So that's really interesting piece of information there. So, and I know you're trying to double the number of esports gaming centers by adding 30 locations over the next 18 months. So where does that stand?
That's right. So it's the plans are to increase our footprint by at least 30 locations over the next 18 to 24 months. Which is a fairly aggressive expansion. Those will all be corporate-owned locations. Our current corporate-owned footprint sits at 15 locations, so significant growth there. But we have great relationships with our existing landlord partners. That includes some of the largest mall owners in the country. We plan to significantly deepen those relationships with the increase in our footprint. They'll all be new percentage rent leases, and so we're excited about that. We discussed in our last segment, the percentage rent structure allows us to pay the landlord a percentage of gross sales instead of a large fixed rent obligation. So we like that flexibility that this structure provides as we continue to expand our footprint and maintain our position as the largest esports gaming center operator in North America.
Yeah, well, and I'm sure the malls love it too, as they look at kind of a changing shopping mix. And, so that makes a lot of sense for them too. So, and I see you're wearing a red and black jersey. So tell me about that. Is that a flamingo jersey or what is that?
It is. So this is affectionately known as the sacred mantle of flamingo. So tens of millions of fans worldwide cheer for the Flamingo brand and show their support for the red and black. There's no better insight into the power of the Flamingo brand than some recent news I saw. Flamingo was recently notified that it's the first professional sports team in the Americas to reach 1.5 billion interactions on Instagram. That's billion with a B. So think of all of the professional sports organizations that here in the U.S. or in South America. And Flamingo is the first to reach 1.5 billion interactions on Instagram. So in my opinion, we have the most passionate fans in the world. We strive to give them championship achievements and obviously work to do that within the esports segment. So we've compiled a great team of players and coaches on the League of Legends side one of our top level players actually is the first to make his way sort of full circle for us through our academy team, which is our development team, all the way up to the main roster. And so this is his first split playing against top tier talent on the main roster, and he's performing quite well in his position. As a testament to the quality of our academy program and staff. So very exciting times for League of Legends and Flamingo Esports in general. The team currently is in first place in the region. Our record is 9 wins, 1 loss. We have aspirations of a league championship and hopefully a return to the League of Legends Worlds Finals later this year, which we last attended in 2019.
So, Roman, I understand you've applied for an uplisting to the NASDAQ. Where does that stand?
Well, first, I want to give a disclaimer and clearly state that there are no guarantees that a company will receive approval from NASDAQ to list its securities. And I can't really comment on process or timing, but I can confirm we have applied to list our stock on NASDAQ. And as a company, Simplicity recognizes that listing on a national exchange, such as NASDAQ Capital Markets, gives public companies like ours a more visible and accessible platform with which to reach the investing world. So all updates regarding the status of the application will be shared via public press release in the future.
Okay, well, good luck on that as well. So thank you, Roman.
Great. And Jane, there's one other item I'd like to add on a side note, right? So even as we trade currently on OTCQB prior to a potential uplisting to a national exchange, as it sits today, Simplicity Sports and Gaming Company is the only publicly traded esports company in North America that has majority ownership of a League of Legends franchise. These franchises are limited in supply globally, but a franchise in the European region was recently acquired by Team BDS for more than $31 million. So I'm sure your viewers can do a quick Google search and start to come to their own conclusion about the value of a League of Legends franchise, which we own. And again, WINR is the only public way to participate or purchase equity in a company that owns a League of Legends franchise.
Okay. Well, thank you, Roman. I look forward to updates later on this summer.
Thank you.
Well, we have seen a lot of hacks, ransomware attacks in the U.S. recently. And with me is Alon Gahahi, who is the founder and CEO of GlobeX Data, to talk about that and how secure their product may be able to prevent some of these things. So great to see you again.
Great seeing you, Jane, and hi to everybody who's watching us.
Yeah. So let's just start with, I mean, we've, of course, had SolarWinds. We've had the JBS meat plant attack. I mean, that was Brazil, but they have a huge U.S. operation. The Colonial Pipeline. I mean, there's been a lot. It felt like a lot there week after week. I mean, what's kind of your viewpoint when you see these stories? What are the things that you think about being a privacy expert?
So all of these hacks, you know, and by the way, the JBS affected North American plants too. All of these hacks are essentially happening because the software systems in the world, the global software system that has been built over the past decade or two has relied a lot more on open source coding. And what's happening now, when you do open source coding, it means that you have a lot of people that can collaborate to improve the service and the code, so they function well. But the problem is that somebody can reverse engineer it. You have hackers that maliciously penetrate a developer group. And essentially, it's like imagine the secret formula of Coca-Cola, right? So, and then you can recreate Coca-Cola or spike Coca-Cola, which is what they do now with hacking. They put malware, they put everything like that. And all of these hacks they really start with email penetration, because the source of information, the biggest communication style today for businesses is email. So a hacker will get in sometime for several months, watch your email account, trying to get information to see, you know, any kind of thing from password to your servers all the way to the, I don't know, how you process meat, or, you know, what do you do for your pipeline? And what's happening is the email system today is dominated by Google and Microsoft. And the problem is that both have been compromised. We've heard about SolarWinds attack with Microsoft. This is the first time that the source code of Microsoft was stolen. And that's a huge thing, because it used to be that if you have your server and you have email exchange from Microsoft and you kept it in your own environment, you were safe. And people used to say, well, I don't want to put my email on the cloud. I'm going to have my own environment. That's no longer the case.
Yeah, well, perfect lead in then. Can you explain to me what Secure can do? And I know your focus is on privacy. So let's talk about how people kind of put privacy, security together. How are they different, and what do you do? What's your solution?
So the first thing that we do is we don't use the big tech platforms. We have our own platform, so we're not running our software on Amazon Web Service, like I would say 98% of the software company, you know, from Signal messaging to Dropbox to whoever. Even LinkedIn is using AWS. So we don't use AWS, Microsoft, or Google. That prevents 99% of the hacking to start. We also never developed in open source coding. We have our own proprietary technology, so we don't have millions of developers out there with our secret sauce that they can reverse engineer. So those two concepts are simple to understand. You know, don't go on the big platform, don't go on open source coding. On top of that, we store everything in Switzerland. Our sister company, the original company that started this whole development, is SWISF. I'm Swiss myself. And in Switzerland, we have the strictest data privacy laws in the world. The data stores only in Switzerland in our own servers. So that's critical. That eliminates a lot of hack. That now, in terms of privacy, what we do, we have Secure Messenger and Secure, which is an email and a messenger app as well. And what we do, we have privacy by design. For example, we have a self-destruct timer on all our messages. And when it does self-destruct, it also destroys in the server in Switzerland. You can send a message to a non-secure user because, well, we have a special technology that does that. So I'm going to send you an instant message, Jane. You don't have Secure Messenger. You're getting an email to chat with me. You click and you chat with me. We don't require phone numbers. So when you download our app, after you sign up, you will never be prompted to put your phone number in our database. And the phone number is also a huge caveat, because, you know, everybody, once you have somebody's phone number, that's it. You can get into their phone. And even worse, you can basically go to their entire address book and hack those people too. And it's like a nuclear chain reaction.
Thank you so much, Alon, for joining us. And I look forward to our next conversation.
Thank you, Jane. Thanks everyone for watching us.
With me is David Vinokurov, the CEO of Fandom Sports Media. And David, welcome back. Great to see you again.
Nice to see you too, Jane. Thank you.
Now, last time we talked, you have since then have completed a system upgrade. So can you elaborate on that?
Sure. What we've done, we've built out our peer-to-peer wagering platform. So what we did was we added 11 additional game titles that now we have an offering of 14 professional esports titles that people can challenge each other to. Furthermore, we also enabled odds line wagering. So that differentiates from our peer-to-peer marketplace in that now we can act as the house. So, in total, we have more games, more ways to play, more ways to win, and we just want to offer our consumers a more robust esports wagering experience.
Okay. And you have also started to develop an NFT marketplace. So that's certainly, NFTs have gotten a lot of attention this year. Can you explain what you're doing there?
Sure. So, NFTs have really come to the forefront in the last year. What those are basically digital assets. So moments, pictures, highlights, call it a digital trading card, if you will. So what we're building is a marketplace where people will be able to engage with stream content on our platform. As they see a moment that occurs that they'd like to capture, they'll be able to capture it on the fly. And if there's other people that are trying to capture that same moment, that will then go to an auction where that creates a revenue opportunity for us and their partners. And then people can own that asset, keep it, trade it, sell it, do whatever they like in our marketplace, or frankly, in any other marketplace that exists today. Furthermore, our players on our platform will be able to take NFTs from any other source and trade them within our platform as well.
Okay, interesting. Now, how do you see blockchain and gaming overlapping? How will those two work together?
So that's exactly why we're building the NFT marketplace. In terms of the demographics that you see with gamers, with adopters of cryptocurrency, with the adopters of NFTs, there's a significant overlap in that demographic right across the world. So the future of rewards will be NFTs. The future of in-game benefits that can be extracted from a game in the metaverse will be transferable from one platform to another. So to underpin that ownership from what's created in a game to potentially another game or another platform, I believe that will be built upon blockchain technology, which will allow us to keep track of what came from where, to prove the authenticity and to comply with all the regulations around the world.
Okay. And then also, how is Fandom Sports positioned then to capitalize on these big trends? NFTs, gaming, blockchain. Those are some of the fastest growing things in the world right now.
Yeah, so ultimately, we're starting with our esports wagering capabilities. We're going to be expanding into sports, but all of that is really a consumer-facing fan engagement experience. Now, as people engage on the platform, we want to reward them. Content creators want to keep people engaged, and to do that, we want to offer them rewards, benefits, increase their loyalty, increase their stickiness to the platform, give them a reward that they can take, keep, sell, transact, do what you want with. So then, we're building that bridge from gaming, using blockchain to loyalty and rewards, to keep people engaged with the content that they consume, whether it's on a mobile device, a laptop, a television screen. All those lines are being blurred. And, as creators are investing their time, effort, and resources to create this content for people, we want to be able to track, measure, and provide insight on the interactions throughout that ecosystem.
Okay. And you've touched on this already, but where do you see Fandom Sports going forward from here?
So again, we've started with our consumer-facing fandomesports.gg wagering platform. The next step in the evolution of the company is to start solidifying business-to-business relationships that will allow us to deploy our technological know-how to help people engage with their audiences. And ultimately, like I said in our last interview, our goal is to fandomize the world, really, so people can play, predict, and get rewarded regardless of what type of content they're watching, regardless of the type of device that they're watching it on, and be a technology provider that, will use these latest technological developments to keep people more engaged and have them enjoy the content that they're watching more. So we're very excited. We've got a lot of cool stuff coming, and looking forward to keeping everyone posted on it.
Yeah, no, definitely sounds like a lot of cool trends that you're a part of. So thank you so much, David. Great to see you again. Look forward to it.
Great to see you too.
Enjoy the benefits of the world's first patented time-release hemp-based CBD topical cream. Hourglass has achieved increased topical bioavailability of cannabinoids that slowly release our CBD over an extended period of time. Hourglass is 99% CBD, THC free, and lab tested, and verified by scanning our QR codes. Visit hourglassonlinestore.com.
Blockquake is looking to launch its global crypto exchange very soon. So with me to bring us up to date on where Blockquake is CEO Antonio Brass, and then also Sam Hyun, the chief strategist. So great to see you guys again. It's been a long time, and I know we've been through a lot since we last talked. But so Sam, let's start with you. Update us on where things are.
Yeah, definitely. So, yeah, thanks for having us, Jane. A lot has been developing on Blockquake's end. We've been essentially working quite diligently on the back end, just making sure that, all integrations are set in stone. Long story short, our plan is to get live by the end of this month. So that's we don't have a specific date per se, but we are extremely confident that we will be going live by the end of this month. So we're extremely excited for that. In terms of kind of further updates, we are initially going to be offering a lot of the top traded cryptocurrencies, along with stable coins, as part of our Blockquake exchange. And we are also looking to kind of have that as one of the trading pair supports with the US dollar. So it's important to note that for all of our future customers on the Blockquake exchange, that they will actually be getting a multi-currency account for the deposit accounts immediately for the 6 fiats. So the 6 fiats would actually include the US dollar, the Canadian dollar, the euro, the Great British pound, the Australian dollar, and the Japanese yen. So, we do have intentions of adding additional pairs to the 6 fiats, along with additional cryptocurrencies soon after going live. But, we definitely wanted to have this sort of scale up approach where, we do have, a foundation set first, and then kind of aggressively scale up and ramp up as we go live.
Well, and that was just what I was going to ask you about, because that was one thing I really remember, Antonio, was that you talked about, and you came from like the regulation part of the financial industry, and you really talked about how you were making sure, and this feels like this is like a fluid situation. So have you?
Yeah, particularly for both myself and Sam specifically, we came from an audit, compliance, risk background in banking and insurance, financial services, and we've dealt with a lot of global regulatory matters and other compliance issues in our past life, in our career prior to Blockquake. So a lot of that stuff is coming full circle now, where we leverage a lot of that knowledge.
Mm-hmm. So Sam, talk about some of the partners that you have right now.
Yeah, for sure. So, we have a wide list of partners that we're working with. We have this approach of working with the best in class folks in this space, and we do realize that, with a lot of these partners that we've partnered up with, that, they kind of have their own strengths. So just to kind of list, some of the few out of the many partnerships that we currently have, we are working with the best in class as it relates to liquidity as well as market making. So that's going to be our partnership with BlockFills and Secure Digital Markets. We are also working to make sure from a compliance standpoint and a risk monitoring and all things relating to transaction monitoring, just to kind of ensure that there's mitigation of any sort of fraud. We do have a partnership with Chain Analysis along with Solidus Labs. Just kind of going down the list. We are also working with Fireblocks, who's going to be our hot wallet solutions provider. We know that in terms of the technology that they use, they're using MPC technology, which is, one of the most secure security protocols that are currently in place. So we wanted to kind of make sure that for our customers that are coming onto our exchange, that they were going to feel secure knowing that, okay, Blockquake is working with, all these big players, not just focusing on the retail market, but also taking into consideration all those people in the institutional market as well. We are also trying to find ways to make the entry point easier for our users when they're using our Block Quick exchange. So another example is our integration with Plaid, which will grant our customers the ability to be able to make a deposit via ACH. So it's just an easier gateway for customers to kind of not go through those additional hurdles of having to wait too long to make a deposit, just finding more ways to make the registration process, but also just making the deposit process in order to buy or sell cryptocurrency as easy as possible.
Okay, very interesting, and congratulations on getting this far. And please come back once you launch and update us, and with all the changes that I know you'll be making over the next year or so.
Definitely. It's exciting times. I feel like every month is going to be drastically different going forward.
All right, best of luck, Sam and Antonio. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Enjoy the benefits of the world's first patented time-release hemp-based CBD topical cream. Hourglass has achieved increased topical bioavailability of cannabinoids that slowly release our CBD over an extended period of time. Hourglass is 99% CBD, THC-free, and lab-tested, and verified by scanning our QR codes. Visit hourglassonlinestore.com.
Winston Gold announced a test run of the Paradigm Mill facility, and it has yielded promising results. So with me is Murray Nye, the CEO, also director of Winston Gold. Welcome, Murray, and this sounds very promising.
Hi, Jane. Thanks very much for having me on again. Yeah, it is promising. We've, we hope to have this mill running in January. We've had some. It's been problematic because the mill has been sitting idle for probably 15 years. So we've had some issues with it. Nothing really serious. There, one thing in particular that took quite a while was to fix was the main pinion bearing in the mill. We got that repaired. And then all back together again. And since then, in the last couple of weeks, we've been testing it. And one of the we reconfigured some of what they call flotation cells. This is what they call a gravity flotation mill. Part of the recovery of the gold and silver comes on what they call a gravity circuit, and the balance comes on what they call a flotation circuit. So we have in this mill 3 banks of flotation cells to improve the recovery. So in doing our testing, we're running some really low grade stuff because we didn't want to put anything good into the tailings pond, but we ran the low grade and we got the recoveries up on the last run up to 85%. So we're really kind of excited about that because the recoveries were running in around the 60%, and on the last run it was 85. We still have one more bank of flotation cells to they're installed. They just have to be hooked up. There's some electrical components that needed to be installed. They're going to be installed probably in the next few days. So we'll have the mill completely back together again, and we hope that can bring the recoveries into the 90% range.
Wow. So when I read the press release, you talked about improvements that were made. So that's what you're referring to there, some of the things that were needed to get it fully operational?
Yeah, it's fully operational. Yes. When we started up on the next rotation, we're just finishing up the last bit of installing. When I say installing, we're putting those electrical components into the flotation cells to make them work correctly. But all the other improvements have been done. So I think it's good to go. At least I'm hoping so. We don't have any more issues, but that should happen probably in a week or so.
Okay. Now this Paradigm facility will be developed into what exactly?
Well, it's the mill that processes the material we mine. So it's rated at 150 tons a day. So what we're trying to do initially is feed that mill with 150 tons a day of gold-bearing material. That will produce XYZ number of ounces of gold and XYZ number of ounces of silver. So we'll be monitoring what they call the head grade. That's the material going into the mill. And then what you do is you monitor what's coming out the tail end or the tailings, And the difference between the head grade and the tailings gives you your recovery rate. So we're hoping to get the recoveries up around 90%, Jane.
So you recently formed a joint venture as well with Bond Resources. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, there's a property, we did a JV on a property that's basically almost right behind the mill. It's just a few miles away as the crow flies. Some pretty decent roads up there. The property owners, we've been talking to them for the past couple of years. We were able to make a deal on the property. We decided to split the, call it the exploration costs on this between two companies, Bond and Winston, just basically to, lower the risk because it is expensive exploring. What the nice thing about it is so close to the mill, if we do get some satisfactory results, it looks like a pretty easy property that we could start mining right away and start augmenting the feed to that mill from a property that's very, very close. So yeah, we're kind of excited about that. The drill should start turning on that. When I say drill, it's a diamond drill. It's going to drill below the old historic workings on one part and a new area that we've discovered just a couple hundred yards away on another structure. So we're going to drill two different structures, and based on that, we're going to then make a decision to increase the exploration budget and then hopefully do some mining on it very quickly.
Mm-hmm. And what about the ore stockpile?
Yeah, we've got about, we had a business meeting this morning, but we've got about, I'd say about 3,000 tons at the mill sitting there ready to put through that mill at the mill site. It's 26 miles away from the mine site, just so you have an idea of the distance. And I think we've got over 1,000 tons here at the mine, probably maybe even 1,500. We're just going to do a survey on that. So we've got a stockpile in the 4,000 to 5,000 ton range, which will be lots of mill feed for the next month or so.
Mm-hmm. And then if you could just give me kind of a big picture of where you're at with the company, where you're going, the gold market in general, just kind of an overview, a macro view of where things are.
Yeah, thanks, Jane. What we're trying to do here initially is we're trying to get to, say, a cash flow positive number. And, I think that's a very important goal for us on the near term to hit. And so I think the development that we're seeing at the mine, we've got about 4,000 tons earmarked to come out of there probably before the end of July. We've got 4,000 tons, almost 5,000 tons sitting on the ground right now, which is suitable mill feed. And then we're doing some other underground development, getting into a position where we can mine below where we're mining now. And we should be hitting that area probably mid-August or sooner, hopefully. And that will get us into a whole new mining area that we can develop tons there as well. So I think we're looking really good here. We've got the development done to take out some significant tons, and we're adding to that as we get this decline lower.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much, Murray. Great to see you again, and best of luck.
Thank you. Yeah, nice being with you again. Thanks very much.
Welcome, everyone. I'm Anna Berry, and this is New to the Street. Please welcome Elaine Guy with GlobeX Data. Welcome, Elaine.
Thank you, Anna. Have a pleasure to be here, and hi to everyone who's watching us.
Well, we want to learn about GlobeX Data, specifically Secure, and how Secure encrypts all of your communications and doesn't collect or sell any data. That's extremely important in today's world. Tell us why.
Great. Well, Secure, which is spelled S-E-K-U-R, is our email and messaging application. We also have a messaging application on its own called Secure Messenger. Both of them can be found on secure.com. What we do is we are a Swiss-based email and communication provider. And the reason why we don't collect your data and sell it, First of all, it's illegal to do according to Swiss law. And also we use proprietary technology, so that's non-open source, and we don't use the big tech platforms. So we're not hosted on Amazon Web Service, Google, or Microsoft. We have our own platform, and that guarantees a user the full privacy. Because if you use an application that's using the AWS platform, for example, there would be some data mining there. Also, there's a lot of risk of hacking. So secure is both private and secure, and it's hosted in Switzerland, so that's where the strictest data laws are.
Yeah, why Switzerland?
So I'm from Switzerland myself. I started a company about 15 years ago in Switzerland. Switzerland has a very good international relations. We have energy independence, great connectivity with most of the world. So in terms of infrastructure, it's an amazing place in Europe to have your base. The Swiss data privacy laws are the strictest in the world. So for example, in Switzerland, it's illegal, it's a penal crime to divulge somebody's IP address, which is unreal because here we have everybody's stealing everybody's IP address and everybody's email and phone numbers are shared. So in terms of privacy, Switzerland is really the Rolls-Royce of all of the privacy laws. Then on top of that, we have our own proprietary tech. We don't use any third-party platform or third-party developers. And we keep things in-house, and we also have some features by design, like self-destruct timer on your messages, which would destroy the message both on your phones and in our servers. And we also do something critical for privacy and security. When you buy these applications for Messenger, you typically have to put your phone number. With us, we never require your phone number. So you don't have to give your phone number away. That eliminates a lot of hackers. We don't social engineer the address book. We can't just upload all your addresses to our system. Our users typically have a SMID number that's generated, and you have to accept who wants to get into your circle and so forth. And also you can use Secure to message an outsider. So if you use WhatsApp, Signal, or any application out there, the other person needs to have the app as well. With us, you can chat by invite. And for example, you don't have Secure. I'm going to send a chat to you. You'll get an email and it'll say, Alain wants to chat with you. You click on your phone, it'll open a secure browser, and you and I can have that conversation without you even having to buy the application as well, which makes it great for professionals, bankers, lawyers, medical, you name it. And when the conversation is done, I can terminate it and it'll disappear from all your devices and mine. So that's unique in the world to do that.
Well, data security is a hot topic, especially in the U.S. right now. And I see that you recently came to the U.S. How have you been received and what's it like?
Well, the U.S. respects, the U.S. does respect privacy, but the companies don't. I think people in the U.S. are looking for protecting their identity. They've been scammed enough by all sorts of hackers and people pretending to have their identity. So in the US, the climate is now, people are looking to protect their data. They finally understood that their entire life is for sale on a minute-by-minute basis. Whatever you do, whichever bank you use, and so forth, is out in the open to be sold to corporation for data mining. And our application has been extremely well received. We also trade on the U.S. Stock Exchange, so that's also nice. We have a subsidiary in the U.S. as well. So I love coming to the U.S. I love the States, and I'm happy that finally we'll be able to come and provide some true privacy for all Americans.
So you mentioned banking. What are some other common activities that we do every day that makes us vulnerable to security threats?
So the big ones are banking, medical, and when somebody has your medical records, they can get to your social security number, they can get to what kind of medicine you're going to buy. And that's how these advertisers target you. legal as well. You may have some legal issues, personal or business. And these are the big thing, but financial is critical. I mean, your credit card info, you may email somebody and say, here's my account number to wire me what you owe me. All those emails, by the way, are like an open postcard when they leave your server. That's another thing with Secure that we have. We have a thing called Secure Send, which is basically a way for a person to send an email to anybody in the world, the other person clicking on a link and suddenly reading it and then replying with secure reply. And that whole transaction never left our Swiss server environment.
Okay, thank you so much for joining us on New to the Street.
Thank you, Anna. Happy to be here.
Enjoy the benefits of the world's first patented time-release hemp-based CBD topical cream. Hourglass has achieved increased topical bioavailability of cannabinoids that slowly release our CBD over an extended period of time. Hourglass is 99% CBD, THC-free, and lab-tested, and verified by scanning our QR codes. Visit hourglassonlinestore.com.
SkyX is a company behind Sukai, which is a social media application. It allows a user full control of their personal data and all of the revenue that goes with it. So with our Sky theme today, it looks like we've got an alien or something with us here today. Let's introduce our people behind SkyX. We've got Wayne Wilson, the captain of the company, and James Winston, the commander, who is posing as an alien of some sort. Anyway, okay.
Martian.
Martian. Got it. All right. So we explained a little bit what SkyX is all about. And you've got a mobile app, Sukai. So kind of just give me an overview of the company.
All right. We started a few years back, and we've actually developed quite a good user base in our mobile applications. We've got roughly 2 million active users right now. So, coming from that background and looking at really where the world is moving right now when it comes to data exploitation from your mainstream social media, personal data retention, and also the blockchain space. That's where we've looked at monetizing, allowing people to monetize their data, their personal data, by using NFT and Web3 protocols, and giving them full control and full ability to basically sell, rent, auction their data to third parties and always maintain that revenue themselves without being exploited.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it makes all the sense in the world. And I know a lot of people are kind of pushing for this, but it seems like Facebook and Twitter are just so big and so powerful that it's hard to get people to make that switch. How do you attract users?
That's a really good question because, just like you say, those companies are absolute tech giants. The route to market is really the hardest thing. How do you create your user base? That's where we're fortunate. As I've said, we've got 2 million users. We're able to onboard those users very quickly into Sukai. That already creates economy of scale, and then we can grow from there. So, especially because Sukai is an application that pays you to use. The more you use, the more you interact, the more you're going to earn. And by marrying it to SkyX token allows us to monetize the data. So all the data that we're talking about and all the revenues and everything that we're issuing as reward is actually all real money, paid by third parties or companies or institutions, just as Facebook and the mainstream do.
Mm-hmm. And you said that all the data remains the users, that they have control over that, they have ownership of that. Is there an NFT involved too?
Sorry?
An NFT? Are you using an NFT?
Yes. It's what we're doing is, obviously to create a user behavior profile, we still have to run AI and algorithms. And that still happens on a Web 2 basis, which is your protocol. So what we do is we have a ledger. The ledger has a certain amount of data, which we call the critical mass. that it needs to establish to create the user profile data. Obviously, the more data, the higher the value becomes. Once it reaches critical mass protocol, then it's moved to a Web3. Data is destroyed on the ledger, and then it's purely Web3 based, and the NFT is deployed. NFT deployed by SkyX on behalf of the user. Whether or not they know what an NFT is, that's entirely up to them. But their NFT is stored, it's encrypted. Only the user has access then to be able to release that NFT. And if they choose, they are able to auction, sell, rent, and monetize their personal data. Obviously, the more they monetize it, the more targeted advertising, the bigger the revenue streams they start to create for themselves.
Okay, interesting. Well, and the sky theme fits with, I feel like we've had a solar eclipse today, and we're going to be getting this UFO report from the U.S. government, and I think there's a lot of interest, and you're in a hot area, so thank you so much. Wayne and James, thank you as well for joining us. So, yeah, best of luck. And I look forward to updates on SkyX. Thank you.
Yeah, I will definitely. I think we'll see you again soon.
Enjoy the benefits of the world's first patented time-release hemp-based CBD topical cream. Hourglass has achieved increased topical bioavailability of cannabinoids that slowly release our CBD over an extended period of time. Hourglass is 99% CBD, THC-free, and lab-tested, and verified by scanning our QR codes. Visit hourglassonlinestore.com.
Strikeforce Technologies helps to prevent cyber theft and data breaches for governments, consumers, also companies. And with me is George Waller, the Executive Vice President and co-founder of the company. Welcome, George.
Well, thank you so much, Jane, for having me.
So let's just start with, I understand that you were recently upgraded to the OTCQB, and you're looking possibly for a NASDAQ listing at some point. So can you bring us up to date on that?
Sure. Strikeforce has been a fully reporting company since we became public, which was in 2005. And even though we were on the pink sheets, we found it extremely critical for both investor confidence to report our financials and any and all regulatory filings. This way there was total transparency. So what we feel is now building on that investor confidence by now meeting the OTCQB's listing requirements should, one, give our investors, a lot of confidence in the company, and two, it helps us as we move up to the next step, which is to get onto NASDAQ. So the CEO and the rest of the team is looking at the requirements, NASDAQ requirements, so that as soon as we can meet them, we'll be filing to get on the NASDAQ.
Okay. Now, you briefly mentioned SafeV Chat. So that's a video conferencing tool. How would you compare that to like Zoom and Microsoft Teams and some of the other video conferencing tools that have become so popular during the pandemic?
Sure. Yeah. If you think about what happened with the pandemic, right? Everyone went into their homes, their basements, their attics, garages, right? We all started working from home. That's when we actually developed our SafeV Chat. When the pandemic hit, we, just like everyone, because we're located in Edison, New Jersey, Edison, especially New Jersey, was one of the first places really hit hard, if you remember back then. And what had happened was, we were dealing with customers, we were dealing with, potential customers, we were dealing with ourselves using all these video conferencing solutions. We were using Zoom, we were using WebEx, we were using Meet Me Now and Join Me and Zoho and BlueJeans. We tried every one of them. And Jane, we didn't feel secure in any one of them. Not a single one did we feel good or safe or secure. And when we were talking with customers, for example, a customer had a data breach and they're calling us to now use our technology, we didn't feel comfortable talking over a video conference with a potential customer because none of the systems protected the data. They didn't protect to make sure that only the customer was the only one that could log in. They didn't protect my desktop. They didn't protect my camera, my microphone. They didn't protect my speakers. So anything that the customer was saying could be heard if I had spyware on my computer. And so what the CTO started, Ram, our CTO, he started looking into and saying, why is there no strong security-backed or security-minded video conferencing solution? And the answer was actually, it was almost overwhelming. It was that there isn't a single cybersecurity vendor that built a video conferencing solution, and there's no video conferencing solution that was ever built by a cybersecurity vendor. That's why all of the video conferencing solutions out there are so ineffective when it comes to security.
Okay.
So I thank you for the opportunity to share that.
Thank you. Great to hear about the company.
Imagine if a major earthquake struck New York City today. Experts say it could happen. Find out about this looming catastrophe where tens of thousands might die. Watch Mega Disasters, New York Earthquake on Newsmax TV. Closed captioning brought to you by Pray.com, the #1 app for daily prayer and bedtime Bible stories.
Let not your heart be troubled. Ye believe in God. Believe also in me.
Download the Pray.com app today.
We can't control political volatility, inflation, massive government debt, or the wild swings of the stock market. But we can control where we put our money. Gold is easily outperforming the stock market the last 20 years. Protect your money. Buy gold. For your free direct bullion guide to buying gold, call 1-800-757-7050. During the 2008 recession, Americans lost over $2 trillion from their 401ks. For many people, retirement was no longer an option. But do you know what tried and true investment nearly doubled its value following the recession? Gold. Protect your money. Buy gold. For your free direct bullion guide to buying gold, call 1-800-757-7050. Start your collection today.
Good morning. Welcome to Save the Nation. I'm your host, Adam Brandon. Let's start this morning by taking a trip back to the 1990s. As you may remember, Republicans pulled off a rout of the Democrats in the 1994 midterm elections, when for the first time in decades, they won a majority in the House of Representatives. At the time, the major election issues were crime and the economy, issues that helped Bill Clinton defeat George Bush in 1992, but which voters felt were not improving 2 years into a Democrat-controlled federal government. Former House Speaker Newt Gingrich was the prime mover behind the 1994 Contract with America, which laid out clear legislative priorities for the GOP. Congressional and welfare reform were key tenets of that contract. Democrats had no such unifying message, and the new class of GOP freshmen swept in, earning a net 54 House seats and 8 Senate seats. Just as in 1994, Democrats today have no clear, rational party platform, apart from some radical promises by House progressives to defund the police and indoctrinate our children that America is inherently an evil place. Democrats ran on a purely anti-Trump platform in 2020, and it shows. Just 6 months in, the Biden administration's honeymoon period is clearly over, with recent polls showing sharp declines for the administration on its handling of public safety, immigration, and most recently, inflation. So how should the GOP respond? Success in 2022 will require Republicans to be on message in several key areas. The first is education. The COVID-19 pandemic revealed that teachers